right. Well, welcome everybody to the speaker series for the Power of Us. We've been doing a speaker every 20th of every month. And today we have Chantel Ray here with us, and she's going to be speaking with all of us about mindset. And we just want to give her a warm welcome. And what we will do is she will go through and speak with us. And then once she is finished, then we'll open up for questions. And you guys can feel free to either turn on your mics to ask the questions or put them into the chat. All right, so everybody welcome Chantel Ray.
Hi guys, so good to be here. And I don't know if all of you guys know this, but I have a company called Chantel Ray Real Estate. That's what the name used to be. But now it's called Canzell Realty. And so it's like instead of Canzell, it's Canzell. And the reason why we changed the name is because I felt like a name of the company was great while we were here. It was local, and we decided to actually move to a national company. So we're now in actually 10 different states, and we're adding new states as we go. And the reason why we changed it, everyone's like, why would you change it? And so we prayed about it, but we wanted it to still say, if it has to sell, call Canzell. But so it rhymed. And then we wanted it to still have like the CR and a lot of the same things. But I wanted to take myself personally out of the business because, at some point, if we ever want to sell the business, and we looked at all the companies that were Fortune 500 companies, and they were what we call a suggestive trademark. And so a suggestive trademark is something kind of like if you think of Groupon, right? Like it's a group coupon, or Pinterest, like pin your interest, right? So that's just a little kind of background if you guys didn't know. But today I really want to talk about mindset and just finding out what you really want in life, right? And how to just be able to take massive action and stop making excuses. And so before I get started on your mindset, I really want to kind of get clear on, I want you to say what you want. So like a lot of people are like, well, I want to lose weight, right? Or they'll say, I want to do all these different things. But the first thing to do is to kind of ask yourself, why is it that I want to do that? Like a lot of people say, well, I want to get a better relationship, or I want to be thinner, or I want to be more successful. And the truth is that, if you say you really want more money, well, you don't really want more money. Like if I said, here's the paper, you don't necessarily want to be thinner. You really want to just change your mental state of how you feel. Because what you think, like the reason why you want the money is because you feel like it'll be more fun, you'll have more freedom. People say, I want to start my own business. Well, I know tons of people who don't even want their business, right? So it's like, well, why do you want the business? Well, you think the business is going to create more money. And then if you have more money, what is the feeling that you have? You want to have more fun, or you want more freedom, right? And so I'll give you an example. When I was in my 20s, I had lost about 15 pounds, and I was literally in the best shape I've ever been. Like I had 6-pack abs. I was so skinny. Everyone who saw me was like, wow, you look amazing. And so I remember at that particular time when I was in the best shape of my life, I really felt really lonely. Like I wasn't in a happy place at that time. And I go back and look at some of those pictures, and I'm like, man, look at my abs. But I remember how I felt. Like I was thin, but was I happy? I was happy with my body, but I wasn't in a happy place because I wasn't hanging out with my friends. I was on such a strict diet back then that, I felt like when people were like, hey, you want to go out to lunch or want to go out to dinner? I was like, no, I have to eat this prepackaged meal. And so I've recently, if you guys don't know, I'm also really into intermittent fasting. And so I wrote all about that. If you go to chantelrayway.com, you'll see something that I did there with intermittent fasting. And I'm getting ready to launch my 4th book on that. But that was just now I feel like, I'm able to lose the weight, but I don't feel deprived. I feel like I can eat what I want. And so again, it goes back to why do I want what I want, right? So like if you look at Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, Robin Williams, James Belushi, they had all this money and they had fame and they had everything that they thought would make them happy, yet they committed suicide, right? And so they didn't know how to change their emotions. And so they used drugs as a way to change their emotions. And so you have to look at saying, okay, what is it that I want to do to change how I'm feeling right now? I am a tennis player. I don't know about you guys, but I love to play tennis. And one of my favorite tennis players is Serena Williams. And what I love about her is just her supreme mental toughness. Like one of the things is just her positive self-talk. I heard her talking one time about her. She was playing doubles with her sister, Venus Williams, and they played, and she said to her, she's like, I had this pep talk, and she said, listen, they were playing doubles, and she says, I don't care what you do on your side of the court, but I'm not going to miss one ball on this side. We are not going to lose this match. And she was giving her, such a positive self-talk. And so what I want to talk to you about is how to stop making excuses and how to be able to get things done. So I'm going to relate this a lot to food because that was an area for me that I had issues with, but it doesn't matter what it is. Like whatever your goal is, you have to look at what are your excuses and why are you not able to make things happen? So for example, one area is your social excuses, right? So let's say for you, you want to lose weight. And one of the things that you have to make sure you do is you have to make sure that number one, you get clear on what you want, but you've got to make specific, measurable, and actionable goals to get there. So for example, if you wanted to lose weight, you can't say, I just want to lose weight, right? Because tomorrow I could just not drink a lot of water and lose 1 pound. And did I actually lose weight? No, I lost 1 pound of water weight. That's not making a difference. So you can't just say, I want to lose weight. You'd have to say something like, I want to lose 8 pounds by eating one meal and a tasting that day and walking 7 days a week by February 28th, right? Because that's specific, measurable, and actionable. And so you want to kind of make those goals and have an accountability partner to make that happen. So and then you have to start looking at what are some of the excuses I'm making that are preventing me to get to my goals. So for example, with eating, I hear people making the first category is social excuses like, oh, it's Julia's birthday. Like I have to eat a couple bites of cake, or, I can't go out and not have a drink when everyone else is having one, or, my son made me dinner, so it would be so rude for me not to eat, even though I'm not hungry, right? So let me give you an example. One time we went to this restaurant called Nobu, and this guy, this company was wining and dining me, and they wanted my business. And so they said, come to New York City. My grandmother was 99 years old. She lives in New York. And they said, bring your grandmother, bring everyone. We're going to take you to Nobu. And just so you know, I don't know if you've ever been to Nobu, but they have like their Wagyu beef is $38 an ounce. So if you want an 8-ounce steak, it's $304, right? And they were like, get everything. But I made a decision that I was going to fast that day. I was praying about some stuff and I was like, I'm fasting all day and kind of getting some wisdom on stuff. And so I was like, okay, I know this is a crazy decision, but I was going to do this several day fast and I was going to keep it. And I could have really made an excuse like, you're not going to get this opportunity to have, be at Nobu very often. And I made the decision that no matter what, I wasn't going to eat. And I had a great time, but I focused my mind and I said, this is what I'm going to do. And I didn't make any excuses of why I wasn't going to do it. I also had an accountability partner that was holding me to what I wanted to achieve. Another one is family excuses, right? Like I see people are like, okay, well, I came home, my husband made dinner, but I didn't want to be rude, something like that. Maybe another one would be just your friends, right? So, like, let's say your friends are saying, oh, we have to go out to this place, we have to go there. That would be something that you would have to say to yourself, how important is this to you? Do you really want it? And if you said you wanted it, isn't it worth a little bit of discomfort? And one thing that I've realized that I have to work on with myself all the time is figuring out what my self-talk is. Okay? So every one of you guys have positive self-talk and negative self-talk. Um, and one of the excuses that you guys maybe make all the time would be saying lies to yourself. So I don't know if you guys have a chat in your thing, but getting your mindset is so correct is such an important piece. So let me give you a story. I It's amazing what you won't do if you think you can't do it. So I have a friend of mine who told me her mother stayed with her dad, who was an alcoholic for over 30 years. They literally had no money. She had to go to Hardee's to make tomato soup with hot water. And her mom never left the dad because, in her mom's mind, the mom worked. She never worked a day in her life. So she thought she never could do it. Another friend of mine who literally went to the hospital because her boyfriend was abusing her, and she kept going back because she felt like she couldn't work. And so she continued on. I know another friend who told me that her mother knew her dad was sexually abusing the kids, but again, she didn't work. So she, felt like she physically couldn't take care of them. And so one of the things that's so important is to go, okay, what are some of the lies that I've been telling myself over and over again? And you've kind of dug yourself in a rut and you feel like you can't get out of it. So, first, I want to talk a little bit about where you get your mindset from. You guys all know the phrase like one bad apple can spoil the bunch. Well, just so you know, I have this wood basket in my house, and our nanny has to keep a look at it all the time, because if I have one fruit that goes bad, like if one lemon goes bad, all the other fruit instantly goes bad around it. And so one of the things that, I looked up that phrase, like one bad apple, where that phrase came from. And basically, it's literally where the apple has like gases that it emits, and it actually isn't based in science. And the other fruit absorbs the gases since that lemon began to rot, so does the one next to it. And the same thing happens with people. And so you have to make sure that who you're hanging out with is, really, are they building you up or are they bringing you down? My husband always jokes that all my friends are thin. And that's not exactly true, but I have a lot of my friends who are thin because that's how I wrote my books. I started, I wanted to be thinner. And so I started interviewing people who were thin. And I said, what do you do for lunch? What do you eat for dinner? And so even though a lot of my friends are thin, even though some of the ones that aren't thin, they want to be healthy. They don't want to overeat. They like to work out. So a lot of my friends are mostly in great shape, because I wouldn't want to hang out with someone if they said, oh, let's just go and like pig out and eat all this food and let's just be slothful. Like that's not what I want. And so why would I want to hang out with people that's what their intentions are, right? And so part of what it is you have to look at how you are raised. Like, is your mom and dad, are they a half glass full or a half glass empty? If your parents are always in a state where they say like, we can't afford it. Like if you ask your mom, like, mom, can I get this great shirt, or can I get this? And if always they're like, we can't afford it, you could get, as you grow older, you could get into that mindset of, even once you can afford it, you think that you can't afford it. And so the very first step to recognize what areas in your mindset you're weak is you have to realize, okay, what are some of those things? So I'm going to give you mine because my weakness is with food. So, when I was young and I was sad, my mom would say, "Oh my gosh, sweetie, you had a bad day. Let's go to TCBY yogurt." Now, I know you guys don't know what TCBY yogurt is. That's from the old school that I don't even know if they're still around, but it's called the country's best yogurt. But you would know like Sweet Frogs, right? Skinny Dip, something like that. But anyway, so now when I'm at work and I'm having a bad day, I have to really retrain my thoughts because my mother taught me that when I was sad, TCBY yogurt was going to make me feel better. And now I have to say, I'm only going to use food for fuel for my body, you know? So the other thing that I do is constantly I'm listening to things like this about mindset, and I'm constantly trying to change my self-talk from negative to positive. So the people that I feel who are the highest performers, they are really dialed into this. So they constantly are disciplining their mind. So the second that they have a negative self-thought, they turn it into a positive. So for example, let's say you need to like kind of pay attention to what your self-talk is. When you're sitting in your car, you need to actually say some of these things out loud. And when you say it out loud, you realize like how silly some of these negative self-talks are. So for example, the lie is, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. Well, I don't have time to go to the gym. No, the truth is I can go work out today and I know that I'll actually feel better after I work out. The lie is I'm too busy to get healthy lunch. I'll just get fast food. The truth is, you know what? It takes a lot of time. It doesn't take that much time for me to whip up something healthy, and it's really important for me to do that. Another thing is I'll give more money once I make more money. Proverbs 3:9-10 says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with your first fruits of all your crops, and then your barns will be, overflowing and your vats will brim over with new wine. So it's really important for you to start looking at what some of these lies are and then turning them around and replacing them with truths. And the number one thing that I think you need to do to reset your mindset is to get more confidence. Like figure out how to get more confidence. And right now with COVID, it's obviously making people lack confidence more than ever, because when you're uncertain, you start lacking confidence and then you start not making decisions. And so one of the things I try to do all the time is to figure out in life what robs your confidence and what things support your confidence. So for me, I feel like I have to spend time with people who build my confidence and less time with some that I don't. And so, for me, I'm trying to build a national company. And so if I have a friend who is at Keller Williams Real Estate, and every time he talks to me, he kind of gives me some encouragement, but he likes to pop my balloon a lot. And so I have to be careful not to spend as much time with him, because he gives me some good advice, but at the same time, he'll say things like, well, you have a great company and I think that's great, but you're never going to be as big as Keller Williams. Well, guess what? I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to hear that. Like, I need to have friends that are going to come alongside of me and go, Chantel, Canzell is amazing. Like, here's some things we can tweak and here's how we can make it better. But yes, 100% you can have a company that's national and can go all over the country, right? The second one is to watch what you fill your brain with. And I will tell you, I just listened to a couple songs that are really hip right now. And I could not believe the words that were in those songs. I was thinking to myself, no wonder why people are depressed. No wonder why they're down in the dumps. I'll give you an example. I never, ever watched the news, ever. I mean, it's been 15 years since I've watched the news. And the reason is because I've never once in my life watched the news and got done and said, wow, I feel amazing, right? Like, you don't watch the news and you're like, you watch the news now and you're like, oh my gosh, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, right? And so for me, I'm constantly reading I don't read books. I don't know why I always say I listen to books. I listen to podcasts. So every single day, do you know that I listen to 2 podcasts on leadership, 2 podcast sermons every single day? And people say, well, I don't have time to do that. Like, I do it while I'm driving, or while I'm putting on my makeup, or while I'm going for a walk. Like, when I go to the gym, I wear headphones and I listen to a podcast. And so filling your mind with these kind of positive things and listening to sermons is the number one thing you can do. And so if you go to joincanzell.com/grow, or I think it's also on canzell.com/grow. But if you go to that site, I have a list of all these leadership podcasts that are so wonderful. And if you commit every day to listen to those, you literally will change your mind. You will change. I went to school. I went to be a math major. I never had any business training. I've never taken a marketing class in my life. The only thing I've done is listen to leadership on podcast. And that's one of the biggest things that's grown my business. The second thing that I've done is really give in such a generous way. And when people say that you can't outgive God, that is very true. So just so you know, when I was younger, I had listened to a sermon and the guy was talking about tithing, and I worked 20 hours a week as a children's pastor. I made $9 an hour and I made no money. I was so broke. I was the brokest I've ever been in my entire life. I was putting groceries on my credit card. My credit card was reaching $10,000 per month. $10,000, and I was paying like massive amounts of money. And God was like, I want you to try tithing. And so I started giving 10% of my income. The first time I wrote a check, I literally didn't even have the money in my account. So I at that time, 10% of my income for the week would have been $30. I had like $3 in my account. And the pastor was like, well, the Bible says, test me in this. And I was like, all right, well, you said test me in this, so I'm going to go ahead and give 10%. And I gave the $30 that Sunday. Monday, I went in my mailbox and I got a check for $300. It was like $320, something like that, from Dominion Power. Because I had been, with Dominion Power, if you don't have credit, you have to give a deposit. And I guess after 3 years that you show that you are a faithful customer, they give you that money back. And so that's what happened to me. I literally said, okay, well, I guess they said, no problem. You've already, shown that you've paid your bills on time. So they gave me that $300 back. And so for me, after that, I had listened to a Rick Warren sermon about how he lives on 10% of his income and gives 90% away. And God just really laid that on my heart to do that. So he said, after I had just started tithing, he was like, I want you to start doing this. And I never told anyone about this for the longest time, but God's told me, if you don't share your story with people, then people aren't going to even have that idea. So I was like, okay, for at least 15 years, I never told anyone. And so my goal is to live on 10% of my income and give 90% away. This year, I'm at 66%, meaning if $100 comes in, I'm going to give 66 away and live on the rest of that money. And so I've been able to do it every year, 3%. So next year I'll be 69%, then, increase every year. But my goal is to get to 90% and live on 10%. And so, a lot of people say to me, they're like, oh, well, when I make more money, I'll give more. And I always respond, I say, no, you won't. And they are like, what? That's so rude. And I'm like, listen, I was making $9 an hour. I was putting groceries on my credit card, and I just made the decision that I was going to do it. But until you start becoming generous with your money, and, you've got to pray about that. But for me, that was when things really started changing for me. I then got a job making $30,000 a year as a youth pastor. Then I got into real estate. I was the #1 rookie of the year of all real estate, my very first year in real estate. And so I just feel like as I've just increased, God has increased the amount that he's given me. And the saying that you can't outgive God is truly kind of living proof of that. So I just want to encourage you today to really work on your mindset. #1, that's going to take you to the next level. And #2, to really work on just your generosity, figuring out how can you right now be more generous, even if you just have so little. There's a story about the the woman in the Bible who gave 2 pennies, like 2 mites, and she gave out of what she didn't have. And so it's really about your sacrifice, it's about your heart. And so those are my 2 kind of encouragements for the day.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anybody that has any questions? Feel free again. You can either chime in through the mic or type it in the chat.
Okay. I
All
don't
right.
see.
Oh,
Here's
here we go.
It says, how did you start your realty company? Well, I started off as an agent and I realized that I didn't want to drive people around all over the place. So I hired a buyer's agent and an assistant that literally before I was done with training. And so one of the things I like to say is like, figure out your strengths, figure out what you're good at and try to delegate as much out to other people. And so after I was an agent for a little while, very little while, I started a team. I think people work really well when they're with a team of people. If you feel like you can't get something done, the very first thing that you want to do is get an accountability partner and get that accountability partner and get somebody to do it with you. It makes everything so much easier. And so that the fact that I had so many people working with me, and I knew that that's what kind of brought my drive up even more.
Anybody else? Okay,
All
so yeah, you got it. How many agents do you employ now?
So we have different agents in different states. So here locally, we have about 180 agents here locally, but we also are in 10 other states and we're opening up new states as we go. She says, what year did I start my business? I started my business in 2005. 2005. And I think real estate is the best, business for you to start in because you literally can get your real estate license in 3 weeks. And we have lots of intern positions as well. So you can kind of you can learn, in our corporate office, you can kind of learn so much. Like I tell people, I personally, you guys will probably get mad at me, but I just am not a fan of higher education unless it's an actual plan that you have to have a degree for. So if you want to be a lawyer, you've got to go to college. If you want to be a teacher, you've got to go to college. If you want to be a doctor, but if you want to just go into business, one of the things that's really smart to do is to just work your way up from the ground floor. And one of my biggest regrets in life, honestly, is going to college, because had I started real estate earlier, I would have, just feel like I don't feel like, for me personally, college helped me in any way, shape, or form. I actually went to Virginia Wesleyan College. I have my degree in mathematics, and There is not one thing that I learned in college that helped me today into where I am, as far as work goes. So to me, depending on what you want to do, you really need to have a plan of, hey, I need this degree because this is where I want to go. And there are some positions that you just don't need a degree in. One of the best things to do is to work your way up from the ground floor. I know, Jason, you're like, Chantel, delete that part.
No, no, I mean,
Please
like,
don't
that
say
is a
that. That is
conversation.
the truth. That is
Yeah,
the
no,
truth.
it's a conversation that we do happen to have sometimes about, people making the choices of what path they want to take. And that's 100% true. That is something that, based on what your profession is, there's different routes to get there. So but we just want to say thank you so much for being with us today and just sharing your expertise and your insight. I hope that everybody here listening, I hope that you've had a motivation to reach a new mindset and to push towards your goals. And again, Chantel, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.